Hi.
Hey.
What's going on? I'm Joseph.
And I am Leigh. How we doing?
Yeah, and just a disclaimer, we're financial advisors, but what we're trying to do here is not to try to sell you anything. We're just trying to add value and teach financial literacy skills. Finance does matter, right? Understanding your finances gives you the empowers you to be able to live the life you really want to.
Yeah, we talked a bit about in the first episode, the why behind it, a bit about financial literacy. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out.
Check it out, guys.
Website,
100%.
financematterscz.com. That's our website. So go and check it out. We always have extra material there as well.
Yeah, and so what we're going to talk about today, right, is the pension crisis, or how we'll talk about retirement planning. There are many different terms: retirement planning, pension funds, all this type of stuff. We're going to break it down today, right? How does it work? What's the best way to do it? How does that look like for me, or you, or him?
More specifically, I guess we talk about how things work here. We live here in Czech Republic,
For sure.
and dealing with expats. Retirement is a big topic because, you know, a lot of people do think about this. They know they should do something, but it's very hard to make that decision, knowing where you're going to retire, right? It's hard to picture your future self.
Yep.
So that's why we're here to help and to at least give you some good info to help you make that decision.
100%.
Get started.
Exactly. So if you remember, securing your future, there are many different terms. You can secure your future, or you can retirement planning, or whatever, right? The best way to look at it, or the vehicle that we can use for that, is called pensions, right? So there are multiple ways to do it. There are two ways, really. You do it privately or publicly. Right? Most people have no idea, so they don't do anything privately. So what happens? They're dependent on the public, which is the government or the state pension or something like that. Many different variations of how to talk about it. But really, to explain and break down the pension portion or the public side of the pension, you have to put it in this way, okay? So imagine three types of people, right? You have current workers, you have the government, and then you have retirees. So most people feel, when they're retiring, that every month they're funding for their own pension. So imagine your own little piggy bank, or imagine Leigh, right? He has his own little fat piggy bank. It's nice pink piggy, with a little circle, with a little tail, right?
The Liverpool shirt.
Oh my God. This guy is supporting Liverpool, man. You Liverpool fans, yeah? Get in the comments and tell me why you guys are so good to me, right? Look, when you guys win the league all the time consistently, then we can talk, right? You haven't won Jack in forever. Anyway, apart from that, a little piggy bank with some little Liverpool flag or whatever, right? So every month we feel out of our gross, or Leigh feels out of the gross monthly salary that he gets from his job, right? 6%, 5%, depends on the country, goes into his little piggy bank every month for the next 40 years. But after 40 years, you break it down, and then you have all the money and you can live off that for retirement.
Yeah.
That's how we feel it works. But in practice, I'll tell you how it works, right? So remember that the three people, you have the current workers, people working right now, the government, and then you have the retirees, people that have already retired. So what people feel they're contributing to their own little pension, their own little piggy bank, or what Leigh feels is going into his own little piggy bank, is not going there. It's just going to the government as social security tax, right? The government takes that little money and gives it to retirees. So it's actually a pay-as-you-go system. In other words, right, a redistribution of wealth. Or in other words, it's a Ponzi scheme, right? No, not a Ponzi scheme. It's a pyramid scheme, right? So there are reasons why this is a big problem. Do you know why?
I do, yes.
Is there a question? Actually, there are really two reasons. There are two reasons why this is a problem. It's all about demographics. One is actually we're living longer. Now you would think, why is that a problem? Living longer is great.
I'm going to live to be 100.
I mean, that's great. You get to enjoy yourself for longer and everything. That's amazing, right? But actually, it's compounded by another problem. We're not having enough kids. So what happens is that this pool of current workers is getting smaller, and this pool of retirees is getting bigger. So actually, what we right now, currently, there won't be enough people to fund us much, right? And so this is a big problem because most people have a current lifestyle right now that is, very good, very nice. But when they hit retirement, when they hit 65 and they have another 30 years to live, they're getting like hardly anything.
Yeah.
We're going to show this and I'm going to break this down for you.
Yeah.
All right. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So guys, this is really important. So what we're going to do right now is kind of give you like a few case studies of how this works, right? So you will see that we're going to kind of start with me first. I'm the younger one, right?
I would explain as well, like when you talked about the demographics, just to give you an idea. At the moment, actually, the average pensioner here now gets around 15,000, right?
Yeah.
15,000 crowns. Maybe it's okay in the village. In Prague, definitely not enough, right? The thing is, it's going to get worse, right? Because like you said, there'll be more and more pensioners. So at the moment, it takes more or less 3 of us, right?
Yeah, that's true.
You and I and one other person who's next door.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, to support this one pensioner, right? And then with these demographic changes, the lower birth rate, we're living longer, plus generations before us and my generation, there was more kids, right? And so, like you said, in the future, when I get to retirement, there's going to be a lot more retirees and less workers. And actually by that point, it'll be more or less 1 worker to 1 retiree.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. What kind of percentage are we talking? Like, what do you think the tax rate will be, like 50% or what?
Well, can it be? I mean, imagine that.
Actually, you know what's scarier? By 2040, which is 16 years from now, that ratio of 3 to 1 flips, inverts. So it will take 1 person to fund 3 people, 3 retirees, 1 worker funding 3 retirees. How would you like if 75% of your income or 3/4 of your income is social security tax? That's how massive and that's how scary some of these things is. So obviously the governments and businesses, they know this is a big issue. And so there's so many ways they're trying to incentivize people to take responsibility of planning their retirement. I think you know about one of them, right?
Yeah, but
yes, right.
Yes, exactly. The old system versus the new system. But
what is DPS actually? For those that don't know.
Yeah, it's a tongue twister. It's a pension fund, basically. It's just in Czech. Yeah.
Okay. So all you international people just don't like. There are some alternatives, or like there's some similar things in wherever you are. But in the Czech Republic, we have DPS. Okay.
Yeah. The problem with, like, the good thing about DPS is that you can get some contribution from your employer, right? If you have that benefit. Not everyone has that benefit. And particularly, I've heard a lot of stories about expats not being informed about the benefit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Their Czech colleagues knew they're using the benefits, but the foreigners
had no idea,
right? So that means your employer can contribute something, which is nice, right? Get some free money. Great.
Yeah.
You can put some money there as well, but generally there's some limitations, because usually it will be a bank or maybe an investment company, but you would often have 3 choices. And based on your financial questionnaire, your investment questionnaire, you'll get recommended conservative, balanced, or dynamic. Right. Now, the problem with this is that, of course, most people that have never invested are going to get conservative.
Yeah.
And who wants a fund that makes 2, if you're lucky, 3% for 30, 40 years? It's nothing, right?
But what's inflation though like?
Yeah, about 2.5%, 3%.
Really, every year?
On average, yeah, it should be.
But last year was like 10%, right? Or 15% with COVID.
Since COVID, it went up. I think it spiked at 17.
17?
It hit 17.
So just in that year, right?
Yeah.
You kind of lost like, what is it? 12%? 15%?
Yeah. So if you were just holding your cash in your bank account, then you're losing
17%. Yo. Yeah, no way. Okay. So what's the new system then? What are we talking?
A good thing also with the previous DPS pension funds, that you can get tax deductions. Nice. You can also get a very small state contribution.
Okay.
I think they just increased it recently, but it was, for most part, it was only up to 230 crowns per month if you're putting there 1,000 crowns. So not much. So the state actually recognized this as a problem, because if you're going to withdraw this money in your DPS before you're 60, there's penalties, right?
Yeah, so that's true.
The first penalty is you lose the 10 years of tax deductions.
Right.
This is penalty number 1. Penalty number 2, you're paying 15% tax on what the employer has.
Oh, really? No way.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And then third penalty is you're paying 15% tax on whatever profit you make on this investment, which a lot of these funds is not that much profit, unfortunately, but So there's a lot of penalties if you withdrew before you're 60, which taking into account that we're expats, dealing with expats, a lot of expats won't retire here. So they'll probably take that money out before they're 60. So they're going to lose most of it.
Right.
So this is the problem. So the states, there's a pension commission, right? They're working on things, and finally they came with an idea, and it started this year. It's called DIP, which means Dlouhý investiční product. So a long
Terrible Czech, right, guys? Look at this guy, man. You got it.
So it means, I'll break down in English. It means long-term investment product, right? So this is what we focus on for retirement. It's a long-term investment, right? So the good thing with this is, firstly, you can still get the employer contributions.
All right.
Okay. The problem that I've encountered with some clients is that their employer is not set up yet for DIP. They still have the old system. Others are fine. They're like, it's the same benefit for the employer. They get their tax deductions. There's no difference for the employer. Much better for the employee. So you can get your employer contributions if you're lucky enough to have that benefit. You can get your tax deductions.
Right.
Right. But I think the best thing is that you can choose any fund you want.
Yeah.
Right. So you can just go and say, actually, I want a fund that makes more money. I like S&P 500. I like a tech fund.
Okay.
You can
So
actually,
it's not just the conservative, dynamic, and then the balanced one, right? You can do whatever you want. Okay, that's pretty flexible.
yeah. So you can get your advice from your advisor or whoever to help you. And you can choose something that suits you, right? You know, I have clients that really like tech. So you can choose the tech fund, you know, so your money's going to all these tech funds, Apple, Microsoft, whatever. So you can choose your funds. You can get your employee contribution. You can get your tax deductions. There's no state contribution. Mind you, as I said, this is very minimal anyway.
Okay, that's the difference though. Okay.
So the huge advantage, apart from being able to pick your own fund, is you get your tax deductions every year, 15% back actually. So
15% of whatever you
maximum, the maximum is based on 48,000 contribution throughout the year.
Okay.
So that's 4,000 per month.
Okay.
So you can max it at 4,000 per month to get back in your pocket taxes, 15% of that. So that's 7,200 crowns every year back into your pocket. So this is a guaranteed 15% profit.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is good. You choose your fund that makes more money. The only downside is if you withdraw the money before you're 60, you can lose 10 years of the tax deductions.
Only just 10 years?
Maximum.
Okay.
So if you only keep it for 10 years, then you'll have to pay back that, say, 72,000. If you keep it for 20 years, you'll pay back that 72,000. If you keep it for 30 years,
You're just 72,000.
yeah, you only lose 10 years. Maybe the biggest loss. Yeah.
Okay.
And if you keep it to 60, you don't lose any of it. And the huge plus is with this, even if you withdraw it earlier, you're not paying taxes on the gains.
No way.
Yeah. So this is, so when we compare the former DPS to the DIP now, the DIP will make you much more money in the long run. Yeah.
And I think you said that 48,000 is a tax deduction.
Yes. Yes.
And then you also get 15% back as cash.
Yeah.
And then you're saying also gains are tax free.
Yes.
And I get to choose whatever funds I want.
Yes.
That's powerful, guys.
Yeah.
So actually that should tell you how much the government, right? They want to incentivize you to really start taking responsibility, right? So guys, it's free money. And really you can get also employer contributions too, right?
Yeah. So look, I'm not an accountant or a tax advisor, right? But look, there are good tax laws here with these investments in Czech. And if you hold it for 3 years, it becomes tax-free.
Yeah.
It's a bit more complicated than that. But if you're investing 4,000 crowns per month, at the moment, current laws, you will not pay taxes on this.
Yeah. Of course, this isn't just for educational purposes, right? And we're not tax advisors, all right? So please consult a financial advisor. Oh, well.
Tax advisor.
Tax advisor, right? Tax advice to help you manage your taxes, right? Remember, don't skip on the tax man, all right? That's awesome.
Yeah, so that is a huge plus. And I'm trying to get around to all my clients to get them on this.
And this is happening this year, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, most companies weren't ready from January, right? You had like Consec, I think was March. Amundi was June, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Unica still nothing. I think most of the banks have it. Don't go to the bank. Yeah. They only have their interest in in mind, not yours.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's another story. But yeah, this is it's a huge plus, and it gives a lot more flexibility for the employee or the resident, you know. And it really helps your retirement. I felt like the previous system, the DPS, most people, you know, I had clients that had it for 10 years and then had grown 4%.
4% in 10 years?
Yeah.
Like cumulative?
Yes.
Like altogether? 4%?
Altogether. You know, so because there's always a fee when it comes to investment, right? Of course, someone manages for you.
Yep.
It's never clear with DPS, but there's more fees than a normal private investment with a dip.
Right.
Yeah, but you're not told that.
Right.
It's not even, it's hard to find even the fine print that explains it.
So if you were to even withdraw, if that person that just got 4% was to withdraw, he would actually have lost money?
Yeah, I mean, he's gained, but but
the 4%, right? Obviously, you have to take back the 15% for early withdrawal.
Yes. Yeah.
That kind of stuff. So you could actually lose that.
Yes. Yep.
Guys, don't try to do these things by yourself, right?
Yeah.
Get someone to help you kind of go through that, okay? That's incredible. But okay, you may be thinking, okay, so but I don't understand the value of this. Like, you know, how does this benefit me? Like, how do we visualize this?
Yeah.
Right? So here's what we got a few case studies. Basically, me and Leigh.
Yeah. Right. Good example. I'm much older.
He's an oldie man, but he's a cool guy. He's a cool bad guy.
Apart from the Liverpool part, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm a Chelsea fan, guys, right? So in the comments,
a big fella of Man City.
You know, people have just said this looks good on me. Yeah. So you comment in the comments, right?
It does.
In the comments that it looks good on me.
Does look good on.
So, but yeah, I'm a Chelsea fan, guys. Liverpool are trash, but that's another thing, right? That's another conversation. So basically, we have two case studies, right? One is me, right? I'm 27 at the moment, right? And essentially, we're going to look at a person who wants 80,000 per month in retirement.
Yeah.
And we're using the retirement age of 65.
Talking crowns.
Talking crowns, that's about like 2.5 euros or 2.5 pounds, or about like, I don't know what it is in dollars, but it's livable with the current living expenses, like cost of living in the Czech Republic. That's actually quite decent. Yeah. That's above average. Okay. So basically what we have here, I want 80,000. Okay. And really all I can actually achieve, right, based on the government, based on the state pension, right, which is basically, it derives from how long have you been contributing, how much you've been contributing, basically, and then also your date of birth, right? That's how they determine that. And actually, I only get about 10.5K per month. That hardly covers rent. That just covers groceries.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so what happens is I'm missing about 69K per month in retirement. So now the next question is, how much do I need by 65 to have that 69 in retirement plus the state contributions to actually have the lifestyle that I want, or the lifestyle that I'm having right now? You know what I mean? And so to save it, if I didn't have anything right now to save, just put it into like your saving and deposit account or whatever, would be about 28.5K per month.
And that's to save up 13 million crowns, right?
Yes, and let's just say it's 13 million. That's the goal. That's the total sum needed by 65. 13 million. And of course, if I didn't have anything right now for the next 35 years, I would have to save about 28.5K per month.
Yeah, just in your savings account.
Just in my savings account.
Under your mattress.
Right. Of course, we're not putting interest here. We can't really guess work in here, but it's just a best estimate, right? However, if I was to invest my way to that 13 million, it would only be about 7,200. That's a lot different. Okay. Now, if we turn it around and look at Leigh.
Yeah.
Okay. So he wants that same 80K per month, right? You want 80K, right?
Yeah.
And he would only get about 12K from the government. Again, no, that doesn't cover much. So he's missing about 68K, right, on average. So again, how much does he need in retirement, right? He needs that 13 million again, remember? That 13 million in retirement to cover that delta. At least cover. It's similar to me, actually.
Yeah.
Right? It's only a very small difference, right? However, for him if he has nothing right now, it's 48, 43 age, oldie.
I only have 22 years left.
22 years left. He needs to save 50 or 49K per month.
Yeah, that's a one decent and okay income.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's super crazy. That's more than half of his salary.
Yeah.
Like just for retirement. Okay, that's crazy. Okay, so now how much is it to invest? 24.5. So it's a bit steep. It's pretty steep as well.
But it's half.
You know, it's half, but it's still steep. You know, so this is why it's really important, right, to start early, right? Start contributing early, because it gives you. This is a number one kind of investment logic principle. Give your money time to grow. That's compounding. Give your money time to grow, right? So start early, start now, and don't wait, right? So find a financial advisor that can help you make that plan as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Take responsibility, right?
I wish I knew this, you know, when I was 18 and my first paycheck, whatever.
Instead of buying that Liverpool shirt, you should have started planning his retirement, guys. You know, and what you can do is you can actually go onto our website. We have an interactive page where you can actually test, right, what you need to save and what you need to invest, right, to get to your goals, right? But remember, finally, what you're doing with your pension or retirement planning is how can I ensure my current lifestyle in retirement, so that when you get into retirement for the next 35 years from 65, you don't just have a massive living standard drop.
Yeah.
Right. It's really important that you have that understanding.
And this is a problem that a lot of people will face, right? And what I would recommend you to do, also don't take these numbers lightly or anything. Really sit down and think about your retirement, right? It's very hard to picture yourself when you're 65, or in my case, I would like to retire even before 60. So
we did
55.
You can try out. You can test out the age and actually play around with the retirement age. So if you want to retire at 40, you better start now, man. Right? If you want to retire at 50, you can try that out.
Exactly. So you picture when you want your retirement and what you want it to look like, you know, and of course the value of money changes, right? So this 80,000 now is very nice, but in 20 years or so, it's not going to go as far. So really sit down, think about your retirement, what you see yourself doing, and even calculate the cost of that per month approximately. And that's what you need to aim towards, right? Because, you know, back 100 years ago or more, it was very common saying that you work till you die. Yeah, that's because the average age was very low, right? So you work till you're in your 60s or 70, you die, that's it. Like, what a life, right? This is coming back, right? Because people are not taking care of their retirement. So when you get to 65, right, and you haven't taken care of your retirement, you just relied on the state, you have two options. You have to, one, continue working because you can't afford to retire. And this is happening more and more. Yeah. My mom's 66. She can't retire because she won't be able to pay her mortgage.
No way.
Yeah, this is very common. It's a very common case. So the second thing is, like you mentioned, if you don't want to work, continue working until you're 70 or something, which who does? Yeah. And a lot of people cannot. Yeah. My mom's lucky, she's healthy and she's fine. She can.
And what's scary is that, God forbid you leave a job, right? And you're 66 and you leave that job, or something happens and they sack you or something like that. To get another job, right, at the same level of income or whatever, is very difficult. It's very difficult indeed. And most people that are older find it hard to find a new job because you're quite expensive. They always go for someone younger. Yeah. So it's really important that you start to take care of yourself, because the world ain't going to take care of you. Yeah. Right?
Because then the second option you'll have is, like what Joseph mentioned, is that you have to change your living standards or your lifestyle, which is probably the last thing you want to do when you think about your retirement.
100%.
Right? You don't want to live off bread and butter, right?
Or Indomie. Or like noodles, ramen noodles.
Oh, yeah. And so the scary thing is, and we can actually add this maybe on the website, a graph of as I said, we're talking about Czech Republic here. I mean, it's the case in most countries, right? It is, the demographics are the same in every developed country. Yep. The average income is always increasing, right? Yep. Slowly increasing. But the average pension is not really increasing. So this gap between the average income and pension is growing and growing and growing.
And in some countries is worse than the others. Now, one thing you also have to remember is that people, especially as expats, like let's speak to our expats, right? we're no longer in the country that we're from. We're no longer contributing to the country that we're from. So we're actually going to get even less than what that other people that are citizens of our own country will get, right? We're going to get less than that. Yeah. Now we move to a different country, right? And we become maybe citizens as well. We've not been contributing for the same amount as a normal citizen. So we're also going to get less from there. So essentially, unfortunately, that 12K that he was looking at, that 10K that I'm looking at, I might not even get that. So this is why it's so important for expats. Wherever you are, you take control of your investment, right? Because take control of your retirement planning, right? And this is why we have this financial house. We've geared it so that you can take it or take the principles and build it anywhere you want, right? Exactly. And that's kind of why this dip is very powerful, because essentially, if you're able to have a vehicle that you can withdraw without all these crazy fees, you can actually just take that money and reinvest it back into wherever you want to continue the contributions that you were doing before. Right. So this is how, you're having the right mindset, the right systems in place. So you don't just think on the short term, you're thinking for the long term. You're preparing rather than repairing. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, your retirement is your responsibility. Don't leave it up to anyone else, especially the state, because they don't have the budget for it.
Yep. And this is heavy stuff, guys. I know it can be very daunting. Like a lot of times when we talk about with our clients, they're like, no way, I didn't know this. And actually they would say, I wish I knew this earlier. I wish I'd known this earlier. I would have done this now. Like even for me, it's not so bad. I need to make sure that I'm doing things right now. If I wait any longer, it's just going to get more expensive. And this is where you have to make decisions. And some people, you want to have habitual, you want to have the right habits, not the bad habits. So start building in the right habits, find someone that is better than you, or find someone that's more knowledgeable than you, and that can actually help you to build those good habits. All right.
And what I strongly recommend, even if you go onto the site and yes, some of these figures might be scary. Look, it's better to start with something small that you feel comfortable with, and it can be increased over time, right? Rather than thinking, I have to invest 10,000 and I only have 5,000 left at the end of the month.
Build the habits, guys. Build the habits.
2,000 is fine. It's going to give you a good start. Build that habit, and it's going to make it so much easier for you.
Don't put your head in the sand like an ostrich, right? Understand the situation, because if you put your head in the sand, right, the situation is still there. You're just going to get your ass kicked, right? Yeah, like literally. So yeah, start today, start small, and start now. Don't wait for today, because today, remember, like I said last video, today determines what will happen next year, and so on and so forth, right? Cool.
All right, that's.
I think that's everything. Yeah, sure.
We can add a couple of links to. There's some really good videos online about the world pension crisis and things, and just to show that we're not talking shit, right? So,
not talking about us, guys. This is serious stuff, man. Yeah. Like, don't take it. Take this information and double check it. Go double check it. Go do your own research, because essentially that's the learning process here. We're trying to initiate the learning process for you, right? So don't take it lightly. Trying to find someone that can help you do that. Yep. Awesome.
Cool. All right. So thanks for watching.
Like, comment, subscribe. Tell us if you liked what we saw. Tell us maybe some improvements we should do to maybe talk about it better, right? And see you then for the next one. Yeah, we're talking about next one?
No, I don't.
Okay, we'll figure it out, guys. Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out.